Hi, my name is Monica Alford. I am the founder and CEO of Wildside Media, and I'm very excited to have a dear friend and close collaborator of many years, close to a decade. I think we've known each other at this point, Victoria Reis, who is the founder and executive director of Transformer DC. And we've been talking about getting together inside Legacy Sessions Studio for quite some time. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today, Monica. It's been such a great pleasure to work with you for so many years, and I'm really excited about all you're doing with Wildside Media. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today. Thank you so much to Legacy Studios for having us.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I'm just going to kick it right off and say, I want to know what you're up to this summer. Well, tell me everything. I know there's a current exhibition that just opened, and I'd like to hear all about it and where people can check it out.
First, I just want to give a shout out to the artists who did this piece behind us, Dalia El Sayed and Andrew Demarjian, who collaborated on a project in 2020 called Which Yesterday is Tomorrow. And it was a little prophetic because it was right before COVID. We were supposed to open the exhibition, and then there were kind of laid in wait until the following summer for us to be able to show the work. But so hello, Dahlia and Andrew, who are incredible artists. But this summer, 2024, we are currently presenting a project called A Different Horizon Atlas, which is a project that is collaboratively mapping queer utopias. And it's the 21st iteration of our Exercises for Emerging Artists program, which is a peer mentorship program we do every spring to connect and promote artists who are beyond the art school experience but still emerging in their careers and really could advance their professionalism and their practices through peer mentorship and building a cohort of artists who they can get feedback on their as they're creating a new work or pursuing a new body of work. So for this year's exercises and A Different Horizon Atlas, we worked with this incredible artist, James Mayhew, who acted as the curator of the program, and it features a cohort of 5 artists who are internationally based, one based in Sweden, one based in Philadelphia, one based here in DC, one in Indiana, and oh my gosh, where's the 5th artist based? I think Vermont, yes. And so they have been working within their individual communities with the prompt, how do you envision a queer utopia? And working in all different kinds of ways with different communities, some just putting out a prompt, like an open call prompt to strangers, so building a community, some really working very closely with their peer networks or their immediate friend groups or the town in which they live. And so collectively gathering information and then creating maps, and all of the artists' interpretations of maps has been really interesting as well. Some created more installations or kind of like Fluxus activations for how you would pursue or think about the idea of mapping. But it's all up during Pride. It just opened on June 1st and will be up through early July. So encourage people to come and engage with it. It's set up as a beautiful space for also reflection and reading, so you can come in and hang out, and there are these little like installations of islands of knowledge with pillows where you can sit and read books and engage with the work. And yeah, so that's what we currently have going on. And
Very
then
cool.
In Asbury Park, New Jersey, where we have our summer residency program for performance artists called Siren Arts. We have a new space there this summer, and we're getting ready to launch an exhibition there on June 13th.
Very cool. Wow. So you're,
Yeah.
it's not like you're busy or anything.
I know.
No.
No, never,
Yeah.
never a dull moment.
Yeah. And so for anyone watching or listening who's maybe has not been lucky enough to visit Transformer Gallery before. The current exhibit is inside of Transformers Brick and Mortar, right? Or,
Yeah,
yes,
we've
yeah.
been in our space at 1404 P Street Northwest for, oh gosh, this June it'll be 22 years.
Wow.
Pretty incredible as we've seen the neighborhood completely change a few times over. But yeah, 1404 P Street Northwest in Logan Circle. And that's where a different Horizon Atlas is being presented. And then Siren Arts is presented in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And then we have a third program that we actually have launching today called Artists Sustaining Artists, which is a really special program. An exhibition of the works is being presented at TTR Sotheby's office in Bethesda. And it's a mix of more established artists who are sustained in their careers, who have donated artwork, with all of the sales proceeds going to support Transformers Emerging Artist Honoraria Fund. So I think that's just so incredible that within the network of artists that we've been supporting for 22 years now, many of those artists are giving back to their younger peers. And so, really encourage you to check out Artists Sustaining Artists. The work is all online and available for purchase online, and you can see it in person all this month at TTR Sotheby's in Bethesda.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a big question, but I've always wanted to ask you this. I mean, I always describe Transformers Brick and Mortar as like the first time I remember walking around New York City, probably Manhattan, late at night, and there were lots of smaller, intimate galleries still open. People were just bopping in and out of galleries, 10 p.m., midnight. Sometimes they were serving wine, and it felt very like boho and accessible and intimate, and there would just be whole blocks that were like that.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like DC, at least now, doesn't have a lot of those, and Transformer always feels like it belongs in DC because we need it, but it belongs to a different time and place in that kind of experience that you've created for art.
Yeah, I think there are, these sort of conceptions of what an art space should look like,
Right,
or what
yeah,
a gallery should look like. We are a nonprofit visual arts organization. For me, founding Transformer, I thought it was really important that we keep our overhead as modest as possible so that our support was really going into paying artists and supporting artists in both creation of work, presentation of work. And so the small space has been great for us. It's also, although our rent has gone up, tenfold since we opened, but it's a really accessible space for artists as well as audiences. And we've always had a partnership-based mission. So if we want to work big, we partner with all different kinds of organizations, from larger museums. We've partnered with the Hirshhorn, the Phillips, the ongoing collaborations with American University, Katz and Art Center, where we'll have our annual auction this year. But yeah, I think it's interesting when we hear DC is a very international city. There's every country has an embassy here, or for most every country has an embassy here in Washington. And so the feedback we hear from the international community is that our space feels very European, and that you would engage with it in other kinds of cities. So, I don't know. It's interesting. In 22 years of press, most written articles start out with in the tiny hole in the wall space, if they're being really kind, in the tiny jewel box space. But what they say about Tiffany's, right? That great things come in small packages.
Right.
So I do think we are a little gem in both P Street and in the larger arts landscape. And artists love working in our space, and that's what it's all about for us. So
I mean, that's a ringing endorsement right there, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it might have been a Farah Skyke show pre-COVID. I think it might have been winter of 2020, winter of
Yeah,
2020.
it was.
Is
It
that
was
right?
January
Oh, I can remember
2020.
things.
Yes.
My brain's not always mush most of the time for things I really need to remember. But I just remember I saw it. I was like, oh, I got to go to the opening, and I had a few girlfriends with me that normally wouldn't. Like, I don't think they'd been to Transformer, and they're not big in the art scene in DC. And I was like, we got to go. We're gonna go there, and as if it was gonna be like that was our whole evening, and then we'll go grab a drink after. And it was so packed because it was the opening
I
night.
remember.
But that was so cool because it made it even more like, how do we get in and see this? And again, that's what gave it that New York feel of like there were just people all over the sidewalk that ran into each other that are friends of hers, friends of each other, that just wanted to kind of hang and then you could go in, and when it cleared out, and like that just felt very community based and intimate.
Yeah.
So I think that that is important, and I don't think that it should be called a hole in the wall. It's beautiful. But it is a gem. It is a gem, and it's a community building space. I think you've built so much community in the city.
It actually is a hole in like the buildings, because if you visit Transformer, our architecture is really weird.
Yeah.
We are actually like an indent in the alley that a storefront and a roof were put on. Our interior, our three interior walls are the exterior walls
Yep.
of three buildings. So we are actually a little indent, but yeah, no.
I like that.
Jewel box.
That's what I would say. I would lead with an indent.
Yes.
And then I'd be like, you want to know what that means? Keep
We
reading.
had there's a great project on our documented on our website. An artist, Rebecca Key, British artist, many years ago. When was this? I think it was in 2012. She did a project where she studied the history of our physical location from like 100 years back, and recreated our space to look like the alley it had once been, which was kind of wild. And she works in film and television, so she used all these like special TV tricks to kind of create the distressed look. But it was so intense, the layering that she did, that when the project was over, we actually drywalled the wall rather than like trying to recover our brick wall, which was good. It was good that we did that for multiple reasons. But her project is kind of, once the space is excavated at some point, you'll see Rebecca Key's project underneath the walls.
That's
yes.
really cool. That's so neat. Yeah.
It's kind of wild. But
layered with many stories.
yeah, and we've expanded our outdoor space to kind of have like a little garden area where people can hang out. So we love the overflow into the sidewalk and yes.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, I certainly want everyone watching or listening to know that we are going to do a part 2, because this is the beginning of a long partnership and a very busy year, and lots of things to talk about. So I want to chat about a couple things we're doing together. But first, just as a plug, so people can save the date, you had mentioned earlier an auction in partnership with American University. Do you want to share the date and a couple details? Well, but we'll be back with more in the fall.
Yeah, we
but
have a bunch of save the dates.
Yes.
First, I would say the auction, save the date. The auction this year is called Transcendence. It's a 2-week exhibition that will open at American University on November 2. It will be up and open for the public to visit with lots of programming through November 22. And then on November 23rd is our big benefit auction night, our big gala. So encourage everyone to follow transformerdc.org and Transformer DC on socials to check out all the details. We're really excited to have the Austrian ambassador as our diplomatic chair this year, and to be doing collaboration with the Austrian embassy. And then also very special honorary chairs, Mira and Don Rubel of the Rubel Museum, who we're thrilled to have their support.
Really
yeah.
You're kind of a big deal, Victoria. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to see just being, for those of us who are, those of you who are not part of this conversation, don't know everything. I'm breaking the fourth wall. I've been lucky enough to be asked by Victoria to be on the gala committee, and also to just work more closely with Transformers, a media partner. So I feel like I've had the opportunity in the past few months to see just how amazing the community that you've built, not only the emerging artists or even artists that were emerging some time ago that still come back and are still very loyal. And then, like you said, there's a whole generational, thing happening, bridging all
That's
these gaps.
exciting.
But also these patrons of the arts, these folks that have the means, whether it's monetary or in terms of their professional, experiences to make connections and support Transformer and all the young artists that you support. It's really, and they're so loyal to you. So that's pretty incredible.
Transformer. I mean, I'm very proud of the work that I've been able to do, but it's really about the organization. It's about Transformer. I have an incredible staff team who works with me. My board of directors is amazing. It's it's interesting when you're saying that. My head just went to, we are big. We're not little.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
We're not just the little space. We are a big organization doing big things.
Yeah.
But, in my head, I always try to think of Transformer as an ongoing art experiment so that we stay fluid, so that we stay innovative. So the idea of thinking of us as being big or myself as being big, no, it's like we're still like,
small and mighty.
Yes,
yeah,
but
but it's intention. I think
it.
it's that intentionality. It's like it's that intentionality that you've built such a loyal, base of folks that are either supporting you or that you have supported, and they keep coming back and giving back now. Like that speaks volumes. And you have a great group too. Yes,
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's pretty significant that artists are really our greatest ambassadors, and to take away that artists, are the ones who keep coming back and are happy with what we're doing and feel supported and feel like Transformer is a vital resource for them and is continuing to be not only relevant but innovative and pushing the needle forward is really great and just feels really great. So thanks, Monica.
Yeah, of course, it's true. No,
it's hard for me to take praise, but I'll take it.
I mean, ditto. But I think it's so well deserved, and I think I mentioned this
like
to you.
Praise. Also.
I think I had mentioned this. I had a friend of a friend who was writing a piece for a Baltimore publication that wanted to meet you, and I think she did end up interviewing you.
Coley, yes.
Coley, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And Coley, you're my friend too. I was just trying
Coley
to
is amazing.
Met you through Darley. But she and I talked for quite some time where she was just doing all of her research, like a good journalist does, in advance to kind of get a sense of how we work together and what I thought. And literally, these were the things that came to mind. And then I was thinking about how my last two deputy editors at District Frey before it folded were both obsessed. MK and it was MK and Nicole, and there was even somebody before where they just always pitched me Transformer specific things and seemed really tight with people on your team where and I was always like, yeah, of course, more love, but also like, we can't just do 3 Transformer stories back to back. We got to,
you
but
can.
exactly. But you know what I mean? It was getting to a point where I'm like, wait, when's, sometimes when you cover the same people a lot, you're like, wait, when's the last time? And how do we switch up the angle a little bit? But you clearly were one of our favorites. We had a lot of favorites. And so what's been very exciting to me is in this, next wave of a new media outlet, being able to move more into the space of, when you want to cover amazing people that you're close to, often it's also nice to be able to expand that to beyond the written word, beyond an on-camera interview or conversation to other ways we can collaborate. So I think that your involvement in our Walk on the Wild Side Pride Party on June 15th is a fabulous jumping off point, and we're so honored and thrilled to have you be a part of it and to represent Mercedes in this way. I mean, if anyone listening or watching doesn't know Mercedes, just know that there will be sculptures called The Creatures, and a fog machine will be involved, and a very interesting performance. This is someone who, she's so original. Like really, like her brain is an amazing, amazing space. Like the way she presents art. So I'm so excited.
Mercedes is really just so smart, so thoughtful, so intentional. To see how their practice has expanded since we first worked together in 2018 is really so remarkable. Yeah. I'm not at all surprised, but so impressed. And that they just keep evolving what they're doing and collaborating with so many other interesting artists. So very excited about that. And thank you for mentioning Coley, and a little shout out to Be More Art. and Kara Ober as well, uh, artists who started their own art magazine,
Yeah.
which is really significant. There aren't, that many print publications out there who are so thoughtfully focused on artists and arts organizations and the arts community, and similarly what you're doing with Wildside Media, and how you are so comprehensive that there are multiple layers to the work that you're doing, and also building community through what you're doing. So yeah, I'm thrilled to be a part of your orbit.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Ditto. It's an honor, and we will come back for part 2 and share more. But we are talking about different things we can do that are beyond the written word or the art gallery or the exhibit, including hopefully some things around panel discussions and live storytelling, and creating interesting dialogues in intimate spaces. That don't always have to be at ungodly hours of the morning, which we
No.
can cut later if we want to, but I don't really want to. Some of us like to have a cocktail at the end of the day when we listen to interesting things.
Maybe we will see you back here at Legacy doing some artist roundtables.
I mean, yeah. Or I think it's totally fair to say and call out that we both have a great relationship with the Line Hotel, which is right around the corner,
the Line
and
DC.
we want to do something there too. But just the idea of taking these really important conversations around the arts community and the creative community in the city, and opening them up to audiences to kind of hear from folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so to more to come soon, to be continued.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah. And on that note, anything else you want to plug? I know you gave the website earlier, but any other way that folks can connect with you, support this summer? Anything else?
Yeah, just come out and visit us, and check us out online. And we're excited to build our family, build our community, and have more people engaged with the work that we do and the many artists that we seek to support.
Cool.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.